When I became much more politically involved, that I began to recognize the strength of this device, that it could be very, very powerful. And of course, when I came back to Bangladesh as an activist in the streets, trying to bring down a powerful general, I felt I had the most powerful weapon in my hands. The police had sticks, they had guns, but I had a camera. With that, I could do far more than they could. No heaven, no hell, no ever after, do I care for when I'm gone. Peace here I seek, in this sand and soil, this place where I was born. This is a city that has amazing history and tradition that goes back a long, long way. When you look at colonial history, when you look at the transformations that have taken place, and at least in the subcontinent, colonial history has pretty much run parallel with photographic history. The Farish statements about influencing people's minds refer to controlling the natives. But in fact, photography has been used to control people's minds and continue to be used by countries, powers, forces to shape our minds. We desire things, we want to be things based on how people present a certain world to us. And if one is to deconstruct that world, then one has to learn that language. Chobi and Mela, two Bangla words, at a literal level, images and festival. But I think both encompass a much wider area. Images are about visuals, are about this world that we live in, which is so image dominated today, where politicians, propaganda people, activists, documentarians are all using this medium to influence our minds. But the other word, festival, is very intrinsic to Bangla culture. We have festivals pretty much every day on something, somewhere, and we love to celebrate. The joy of celebrating visuals, the joy of life. We take to the streets, we dance in the streets, we take over, we are boisterous, but it is a wonderful melting pot where not only diverse types of art form get together, but people of very many mind types get together. And I think the strength of Chobi Mela is that it has become such a bridge, both within the community itself, but also between Bangladesh and the rest of the world. When Chobi Mela started, there was nothing else of its type. So for Bangladeshis to get a sense of how the global photographic world operated, or to get a sense of what was being practiced or what was to be seen, there was very little opportunity except for books and things like that. And books are very special things, but they are not the same as exhibited prints. You need to stand up to a print, you need to be able to smell it, to touch it, to feel it, and be in its presence. And that an exhibit or an installation provides. Until things like Chobi Mela were there, we had pretty staid exhibitions of pictures on walls, but this entire concept of curated work where there's an interaction between the audience and the work itself is something I believe came through Chobi Mela. And I think one of the things that has happened because of the festival is people have begun to learn to see. And it is a difficult thing. We assume we are born knowing to see, but it is a practice that needs to be learned. as oceans deep, as deserts wide, as forests and fences loom, as children die, as lovers sigh, no cross, no epitaph, no tomb. As bullets whiz by, as shrapnel shard, as hate pours from above, as blue skies curse, the wounded I nurse, as spite replaces love. It is home I long as our boundaries cross, a shelter that I seek, a world for us all, white, brown, short, tall, the boisterous and the meek. Three entities, Drik, Pathshala and Chobi Mela, have a synergy which needs to be understood. Drik is primarily a media organization, Pathshala deals with education, and Chobi Mela is about culture, though the barriers overlap. And one of the things we have thought we should do was to use the three prongs, culture, media and education, to exert pressure upon the social space. So people who run our country cannot get away with the things they do because of this concerted pressure. So logically, obviously, Drik and Pathshala provide the two other components. Through Chobi Mela, begin to influence each other, begin to work together where the artistic space correlates and impinges upon the production space, and vice versa. I think artists need to be realistic, pragmatic, down to earth. I think people who are in production need to be creative and think out of the box. And Chobi Mela forms that bridge that puts it all together. The relevance of Chobi Mela really was that through it, it opened up this nation of mine, Bangladesh, to a much broader community who had never seen it up close except through the stereotypes. But it also provided an insight for Bangladeshis into art practice, into visual arts, into the practice of photography that was being practiced across the globe. And very rarely before Chobi Mela had these two groups had an opportunity to get to know one another. If my bosom is raised or my beard is long, or I sleep with the wrong kind, if my politics isn't yours, nor my country of birth, a terrorist you will find. You return my boat to the cruel sea, back to the wars you wrought. Walls you will raise to keep me at bay, my children in danger fraught. I love the land I was born in, the tree that gave me shade, my broken home, my shattered dreams, slain lover that goodbye bade. My slanted eyes, my dreadlock hair, my tongue, though strange may be, I bleed red blood as flows in your vein. Is there a place in your heart for me?